Good morning. Hi, it is Stacy. We are loving my veteran, and this is walking in my shoes this morning. You gotta give my hair a break. I had to take little mousy mouse to the vet to get neutered, but we're not telling him that this morning. So already had a little wind blown, all that kind of stuff. Um, it is Fabulous Friday. We always look at our Fridays and take count of what we've done over the week and get our mindset right for going forward. And that's what we do on Fridays. It is Fabulous Friday. So let me drink coffee. My coffee is in a big old cup that says Loving My Veteran um, this morning. And that's what I'm using. Get this out of the way. Take us a little count. So, for those of you who are just coming on, want to keep Michelle, who is our morning Sarah, who is the president of Loving My Veteran, and behind us 100%. She's having some minor little surgery this morning, so we want to keep her in our thoughts and prayers, and just hope things go well for her this morning. Always we take into that. And again, when we look at our Fabulous Fridays, yes, she's having a little surgery, but her fingers on the bright side will work better than ever, so she'll be able to type and get more things done. So there's my Fabulous Friday for that with her. What else do we have? Sarah's on this morning, and I absolutely have to say that Sarah Holbrooks is truly my inspiration this week. I think we all have our inspirational people, and Sarah happens to be it this week. This young lady has worked so hard at learning her boundaries and taking care of herself and healing herself and gaining her voice, which was phenomenal to watch her go through this and gain her voice. Sarah, I'm so proud of you for gaining that voice. She was amazing. She is been our true hero this week for a long time, but just to watch her transform has been absolutely phenomenal. So Sarah, this is to you because you make my Friday fabulous. Watching your smile and watching what you went through is definitely one of our Fabulous Friday victories that we take into account. You are it. And by the way, your face was priceless last night on Let's Talk. Just want to say that is always entertaining. But Sarah, thank you for everything, for loving your veteran, for loving yourself. You know, when we look at Fabulous Fridays, we look at all of our victories. We all have setbacks. We all have moments. We all have negative times. We all have this points that we kind of feel like, why? This has been a roller coaster week for me. Twice. Once I called Nakia, once I called Michelle, and I said, "Good morning, Melissa." I said to Nakia and to Michelle, like, "Will you please tell me why I love him?" I mean, just in that level of frustration. And I think that we all do that. And if you're going to sit on here, you're going to talk about your spouse, or you're going to talk about your veteran, you're going to talk about any spouse, veteran or not, that you're in a relationship with, or person you're in a relationship with, and you tell me that you don't have those moments when you want to just sit here and scream, will you please tell me why I love them? You are wrong, and you've lost your mind, because we all say that. But there were two times this week that, like I said, it's been a roller coaster week, and I literally called them just crying, screaming, "Will you tell me why I love him?" And they just start laughing. I mean, because we've all felt that way. We've all been in that situation. And of course, you know, we encourage each other and we lift each other up and we let each other vent. And we've done that, and to have that power among us is phenomenal. And they talked me through it, and they're like, "Vent, sister, breathe, it's okay." And then I calmed down and I came back home, and Carl and I talked, and you know, that made it a fabulous victory for the week. I looked at, do we still argue? And I mean, people say, "Well, you know, y'all got like this perfect relationship and you never argue." La la la, we argue. We take what we teach here and what we've lived here, because we're not professionals. We're sharing our real life experiences, what we've lived here, and we share them. And I go back, and sometimes I fail miserably, but it's how quick I get back on the train, how quick I get back on that path that makes a difference in our and count it as a victory. It's one of those things we add to our victory walls. It's one of those things that we truly add to our victories, is how quick you get back on it. So when I was looking at the week, and I looked at those moments that I called both of them, and I'm like, ah! And, we do it. We all, so just again, if we do it. I was excited. I was mad that I got to that place, but I was excited because one, I walked away from the situation, not from him, from the situation. I walked away and said, look, I need a break. I'm going to go for a ride. I had to clear my head. I'm going for a little ride. And I did. And of course, I called them and I sat in the parking lot and I cried up the road and I cried and got it out and felt better, came back and we talked. And I realized that what would have been a 2 or 3 day event, right, wasn't. What would have been a 2 or 3 day event was not. It was an hour or 30 minutes. And I'm like, that's your victory. That's your victory in here. This is your victory. This leads you to a fabulous Friday. This is the things you can sit back and say, hey, I made it. I did it. I did these things. And those are the things you start marking off of your list. Did you have a bad experience? Did something happen that created a situation in your home? And I know Melissa had a situation come up, and it was ugly. And when we talked about it briefly last night, she says, well, nobody's speaking to each other, but the bright side is nobody's fighting either. And so again, you look at that and you're like, hey, you know what? Another victory, another fabulous Friday moment. Are we speaking to each other? No. But they're not fighting. So victory. And to be able to see what the catalyst was that creates the situations. I get excited because it's not, we're going to fail. We're going to argue. We're going to disagree. We're going to have situations. We all do. Every one of us does. But to be able to look back and, as Carl says, step out and look at things from an outside opinion, an outside point of view, I was able to step out and you're able to look at it and say, what was the catalyst for this bad situation? And so when you can do that and you can see this was the catalyst, this is what caused the bad situation, now going forward, you're going to learn from that. Was it a bad situation? Absolutely. But did you learn something from that situation? Absolutely. And when you learn something from that situation, you can take it forward to where you're going. And that's what happens when you start counting your victories. See, we get so hung up in negative. So hung up in negative. I had a bad week. We argued. This happened. Things went to shit. Things were not good. Yeah, I mean, we can all do it. We can all get in this. The Eeyore moment. The why bother? Why am I doing this? I'm destined to be like this forever. I'm sorry, Pooh. That's what we get in. We get in that why bother, that Eeyore moment. And instead of being in that, take and step back and say, hold on. This was a bad situation. This was a negative thing, but I can see that this isolated thing was negative, and I can see what caused it, and I can see going forward how to try to avoid it going forward. And now you become like the Tigger moment, and you get bouncy, and you're like, but I did this. We handled this. I can see this. Yes, it was crappy, but we've come out the other side better, and I now know what some of the stuff was. And so when you're able to do that, when you're able to turn all that around, all that negative Eeyore why bother moment, when you're able to turn all that around, and you're able to look at it and say, oh my gosh, this was so easy. It may not have been easy at the time, but now I can see it objectively. You're like, whoa, I'm there. And that's what matters. And that's what is helpful going forward. That makes our Fridays Fabulous. When we start taking account of the week, what else happened? What little victory did you have? What little victory did you have in your life? Personal. What one thing, I say to you on Mondays, on Motivational Mondays, what did you do for you? What is something you did for you this week? What mattered to you? What was your one thing that you did for you this week? Did you accomplish that? Did you do something for you this week? And you're like, yes, I did. And when you start writing them down or just start making a list in your head of all the things you did for you this week. I'm going to tell you, it's the first week I did. I fixed something for Carl because he liked it, but I fixed enough for him because it wasn't my favorite thing and he was having a moment and I know he wanted it, so I fixed it for him. And girlfriend had a steak, okay, because that's just my go-to food. But I did that for me and I was like, oh, whatever you're eating's on you, this is what I want. And there wasn't this discussion about, well, what's going to make you happy? Oh, no, I didn't. I said, this is going to make me happy, and this is what I'm going to do today. And I'm telling you, it was a fabulous feeling. Normally, I would let that feeling just get to me. Normally, I would be like, well, did I make them happy? What did I do? No, I didn't. I said, this is going to make me happy. I'm doing this for me today. And guess what? My mood was better. So that happens again on your Fabulous Friday moments. Those are the moments you take into account. My mom had surgery, which most of y'all know, 3 weeks ago today, as a matter of fact. And yesterday, day before yesterday, so that evening, she was put in the hospital with sepsis. Of course, she's in North Carolina and I'm here, so I'm like, all up and out of shape. My brother is at work and he also lives 2 hours away from her. And so I was very concerned. And my brother and I we have different lives. We have very different lives. And so I called my brother and I said, hey, I need to talk to you about mom. I'm kind of concerned about this, this, and this. And he looked at me, he talked to me on the phone, and he said, Stacy, look, this is, I wouldn't know medical one from the other. That's not what I do. He said, you've got the medical side. He said, I can tell you that the building she's in is a hospital. Just like you can tell me the things I build are ships. I can tell you how to build the nuclear part of the carrier, and you can deal with the medical side. And so all of a sudden we had this intelligent conversation, which made me excited. And even in the midst of my mom being sick, my brother and I had an intelligent conversation that was respectful from each other. So again, where do we count that? We count that as a victory. We count that as our fabulousness. We count that as the things going forward. That's what we do when we start to account our Fabulous Fridays. It is a fabulous Friday. What little things make your life fabulous? What little things make your life fabulous? I sat there on Let's Talk last night, and for anybody who misses Let's Talk, I'm just telling you, we have so much fun. It is not always this deep into it thing. It is just a lot of fun. Most of the time, we have a lot of fun. Now, there are times we get very deep, but then we always end up with some comedic thing. But we had people on there who initially wouldn't even be on the screen. And it was funny because Erica and her husband were on there, and she has been at work training for a new job. And so she was really tired, and she sent a message, hey, look, I got to go to bed. And so they get off, and within a few minutes, her husband's popped back on. And he is now a regular part, and he's talking to the other veterans. And to be able to see him say, hey, look, I want to be involved, I'm like, wow. This again adds to our Fabulous Fridays. What good has come out of your week? And to see that, you just get excited. So we can get wrapped up in negative because negative is so easy to get wrapped up in. But look at those positive things. There's always a rainbow somewhere. There's always happiness somewhere. You just have to find it. And we have to look for that. We have to look at those positive things that come along. That's what creates our fabulous days. That's when you go back in and you look at the week, because I am a firm believer that negative is negative, right? And we get so sucked up in negative that it just pulls us down forever. I mean, it's like the more negativity that you allow in your life, and it's not like allowing necessarily. I don't know about y'all, but I must have this big sign that says, if you've got shit negativity, please dump it on top of my head. Okay, so there's like this sign, like a flashing neon sign that says, if you got shit and negativity, just dump it in my head, because it's all going to come falling all around me. Right? And it's so easy to get bogged down in that. But when you gain that fabulousness, when you gain that the ability to call it a fabulous day, is to be able to, the big pile of shit that's been dumped in you, to say, hold on, you're not going to hold me down. I'm going to climb out and I'm going to find the happiness in amongst it. And you have to just start looking for that positive. And when you learn to look for the positive, when you learn to start focusing on the good, you will find there's more good in your life. The good's always been there. You just don't see it because you underneath all the piles of the poo-poo. And that's what happens. And I would get so consumed with the poo-poo that I never saw the beauty. I never saw the beauty. And when I think about poo-poo and the beauty, y'all can think I'm nuts. Well, I thought my father was nuts. My dad always had the most immaculate lawn in the neighborhood. Like, if he wasn't building ships at the shipyard, he could have been one of those greenskeepers for a golf course. Because I don't care, the middle of the winter, my daddy's grass never died. So we went up there when he lived in Virginia. We went up there one day, and he's got like the grass roped off, and he comes out and he meets this thing, goes, "Don't walk in the yard." And I'm like, okay. And he's like, "I just had human manure spread on the yard to fertilize the grass." And I'm thinking, oh, so you just spread shit all over the lawn, right? And he did. He paid like God knows how much money to have poop spread on the lawn. And I can remember saying, look, you would have given me $50. I could have done that for $50. I don't know what you pay, but I'm sure it was way more than the $50 I would have charged you to poop on the lawn. But what became from the poop? When the poop got fertilized into the ground and the rain came, he had the most gorgeous green grass you've ever seen. Because in amongst the poop is where you get to see the beauties come from it. And you have to be in that negative sometime to see the beauty that's on the other side. And people are like, what? And that was the best analogy I ever had, was you have to be wallowing in the poop sometimes. That poop has to be spread out so you can see the beauty on the other side. That's how it works. That's how it works. Y'all, you're aware that is like the best fertilizer ever. You know, for those of you who don't live in the city and have a septic tank and understand what a septic tank is like, it's a big box that goes in the ground that holds our poop and our waste, and there's drain lines that go out from it, and they've got all these lines, and it keeps the water that's been in the poop all running out up underneath the ground into your grass so that your septic tank only fills up with solids. Do you know that you can tell, if you didn't know by the box, by the outline of the box, if you ride by somebody's house, you can tell where the septic tank is. Okay? Because their grass is always greener on the septic tank. Because in amongst that poop, it fertilizes the grass. And that's why people get so, well, look at so-and-so. Look at so-and-so. They're happy and they're doing this and this job is better. And I really want to do this and I really want to do that. And their life is this and their life is that. And look at how great it is. And I keep telling people, be careful. Be careful. Because if you think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, it just means there's more poop in their septic tank. And that's a true statement. If your grass is greener than everybody else's, you live out in the country, you got more shit up in your septic tank. That's the truth. I mean, that's what we live out here in the country. We know that. We know that. Y'all, that is where we plant our best vegetables. We plant them right above the drain field. You want a beautiful flower bed, plant it above your drain field. You want gorgeous tomatoes, plant them upon the top of your drain field. That's how it works out here in the country. Because that's where the beauty comes from. When you don't live in the negative, you don't see when you don't have a lot of negative, you don't see the beauty. So you have to look, the beauty always comes from climbing out of the negative. And that it should motivate you to say, you know what? I had a really crappy week, but where did my successes come from? What did I decide because of my crappy week that I'm going to do different? What was my victory? What was the thing I asked for? What was the thing that came out of it? What helped me become a better me because of it? What beauty did I see because of the negativity? What little victory did I celebrate? That's what happens when you live and you let the negativity go and you look for the beauty. Prettier grass, prettier flowers, prettier vegetables, the rainbow. It's all there. Simply, well, they're not speaking, but they're not arguing. Come on. I'm sure that when what happened with Melissa happened in that situation, she was truly expecting there to be blow up explosions in her house. Now, I'm not saying it was great afterwards, right? But what I'm saying is that they didn't have blow up explosions. They didn't live in a blow up explosion. They're not talking, but they're not blowing up. And so, and she was able to sit back and see the catalyst. What caused it? How did this happen? What caused this to them? When I look at Sarah and where she's come from, you know, she's been able to sit back and say, hey, wait a minute, this happened. This was not good. But when I changed this, it is great. She wasn't going to be able to see the greatness when she was wallowing in the poop, when she was wallowing in the negative. I can remember talking to Sarah early on, and she was like, he needs to go to counseling. I'm like, okay. So what do you hope? Why? Because he needs to go. Well, why? Because he needs to go. Well, what do you hope to accomplish? And so she gave us this list of what she hoped to accomplish, what she hoped would happen if he went to counseling. You know what? Some of the things she wished to accomplish by him going to counseling have already been accomplished by her changing the way she approached things and started looking at the good and uplifting the good and not reading the garbage in the text messages and read through the text messages for the good. And when she did, she responded to it more positively. And guess what? A lot of the things that she said she wanted to accomplish by counseling have already been done. And yes, you're right, Sarah Kim. Living in the same house is hard because you don't get that opportunity to step out. You don't get that opportunity to step out. I look at Sarah, you know, Sarah Kim's sitting here and she's got a 4-year-old. She's got a husband with a traumatic brain injury. They're together all the time. It's hard for her to step out. It's hard for her to step out and step away. And Sarah Kim, we need to work on that for you. We need to find you that stepping out place. Where is it? Where is it? We gotta find that place for you, because we know in amongst all the poo poo now, we know that you need to be able to step out for a few minutes. That will be instrumental to you becoming healthier. In is you, not him, not your child, you becoming healthier. And when you are mentally healthier, your whole life changes. Your whole life changes. Your whole life changes. You have to find the things, the little things that make you happy. I'm excited because sometime in the next week or so, I'm going to have a means to get out in that river and just float. Just float in that river. That river makes me happy. That peace of that water makes me happy. That being able to float along makes me happy. And you have to find those places that make you happy. Where are they? Where are they? What are the things that make you happy? That's how you start getting ready to make every Friday a fabulous Friday. And before long, you learn at the end of the day to take account of your day and what was your fabulous day. See, we do motivational Mondays to get you motivated for the week. We do fabulous Fridays to wrap up all the victories that you had in the week. The objective is to get us individuals to wake up in the morning and say, this is my motivation for the morning. And at the end of the day, to be able to sit back and say, I'm tired, but these are my victories. These are my moments of fabulous. Because when you do that, your whole mindset changes. When you look and you be motivated and are positive about where you're going, even when it doesn't all happen, when you do that, that will change your life. And then sitting back at the end of the day, I don't care how tired you are, and saying, wait a minute, this small little piece was a victory. This small little piece made one moment of my day fabulous. When you do that, your mindset changes, because when we stay in that negative, that's where we are. When we move to the positive, that is also where we are. Just remember that. That's your motivation. That's what we do. That's the way it works. I'm going to wrap this up. We have a ton to do today. And I'm going to spend a little time with my veteran today, because, this is Loving My Veteran. And our moment of poo-poo came last night when we made a list of places we have to go. He's going to town with me. And I added something to the list before we ever got there. I mean, I added it last night. Ooh, girl, that was not pretty. But now we're ready to go, and we have a list, and we're going to be okay. And you know what? He still wants to go. So those are the victories. That's my motivation. That's my moments of fabulousness. And by the way, yesterday, this is another fabulous moment, even though the food was not good. This is another fabulous moment. We were up the road, which we don't do very often, and we said, hey, you want to go eat? He's like, yeah. And we went and sat in a restaurant and ate together. Now, the food was not fabulous by any means, but the moment was fabulous when he said yes. Count your moments. Count your moments of fabulous. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Melissa does her Sunday check-ins. Let's get on our victories. Let's get on our check-ins. Let's feel motivated. Let's feel positive. A lot going on. You guys are going to see so much more stuff coming out. So much more we're doing. So much more we're going to be able to bring you. We are working diligently now on a virtual conference seminar, 2-day seminar. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It is called boot camp for the caregivers. And that will be August, end of August, early September. So we should have all those dates, events, times buttoned up by next week so we can get that out there. I'm Stacey. This has been Walking in My Shoes. We are loving my veteran. Y'all have a blessed day. Go look for your fabulous moments, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.